A glam violinist who's doing their own booking is one part entertainer, one part business owner. As much as we would like to just show up and perform for gigs, they don't just happen by magic. And if you're already in the thick of doing all this, you know exactly what I mean. It is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding.
Are you a classically trained violinist, dreaming of stepping out of the orchestra and into the spotlight? But maybe the world of solo gigs feels intimidating? You're not alone. Welcome to The Glam Violinist, the podcast that empowers classically trained musicians to build thriving careers as sought-after entertainers. I'm your host, Celeste V, and each week we'll break down the secrets to getting the gigs you've been dreaming of. Get ready to unleash your inner rock star and turn your passion into a paycheck. Let's get glamorous.
Hi, it's Celeste again. I am back for episode 6 of the Glam Violinist podcast. And we are going to talk today a little bit about wearing all the hats and what does that mean. I am here in Puerto Rico right now with my husband and some of our friends. And I have been working really hard this week, even though I'm here in this beautiful location. But I wanted to share a little bit about kind of how I got to where I am today and what it takes to be a business owner who does the types of events that we do and how the business grew and the background that I came from that allowed me to get to that point. So a glam violinist who's doing their own booking is one part entertainer, one part business owner. As much as we would like to just show up and perform for gigs, they don't just happen by magic. And if you're already in the thick of doing all this, you know exactly what I mean. It is a lot of work, but it's very rewarding. And I'm also going to warn you right now at the end of this episode, I'm going to probably do a shameless plug for Violin Event Entertainment because we handle a lot of these logistics on behalf of our violinists. It's one of the things that makes us unique and allows us to help clients and violinists connect without all that muddy middle ground of business owning and logistics and entrepreneurship. Now that I have a larger business, I have an amazing team, and they help me with a lot of these day-to-day tasks that have to be done to keep the business running. But it wasn't that long ago that I was wearing all the hats. I was doing this completely on my own for many years. And so I thought I would kind of go back and explain what skills I learned throughout the years that allowed me to be successful doing what I'm doing now. I grew up in Texas playing the violin. I started playing when I was 4 years old, Suzuki method. So I was learning everything by ear. And I started playing in bands when I was 11 years old. But when I got to college, I was totally burned out and decided that I did not want to major in violin. I actually wanted to major in musical theater, but the school I attended, SMU, Southern Methodist University in Dallas, did not have a musical theater program. So I ended up majoring in vocal performance and getting a minor in theater. That was as close as I could get. At the same time, I started my first business. That was the Platinum Strings. We played for weddings and corporate events, and I learned all about branding, about marketing, about websites, about booking process, all the things that go into running a business for event entertainment. Fast forward to post-graduation, and I found it was really hard to get a job as an actress, but there were plenty of bands that wanted to hire a violinist who could improvise. So that's what I somewhat unwillingly resigned myself to. And for the next 15 years, I played with some amazing bands all over the country. We performed for weddings and corporate events, and most of these were large bands, 10 to 14 people with a whole horn section, and we were playing top 40 and cover music from all across the decades. Since we were playing for mostly luxury events, I learned all the ins and outs of building a set list and how an event flows and all of the logistics that go into a luxury wedding reception specifically. And at the same time, I was still managing my string quartet. During these years, while I was performing every weekend, I was also working at a marketing company where I learned so much about branding and about marketing collateral. And then I went on to earn my master's degree in business administration. And during that process, I learned that I really did not want to go into the corporate world. I loved events, so I ended up applying multiple times until I got a job as an event planner for South by Southwest. Again, just learning more about the event process and what works and what doesn't. My husband and I got married in 2018 and moved to Washington, D.C., And that's when I decided I wasn't going to play in bands anymore, and I didn't want to work a full-time job. I really wanted to see if I could go 100% solo violin. I realized that over the years, I had basically learned accidentally all the things that I needed to do to run an event company. Before I knew it, I had more work than I could handle, so I started Violin Event Entertainment, hired my first violinist, and we were off to the races. My husband and I moved to Texas in 2023 after he retired from the Army, and I continued to build my team and just travel and perform on the weekends as I was growing more violinists and planting them in various cities depending on the demand and where I was traveling the most. So why am I telling you all of this? Each of us has a really unique journey, and it's because of the experiences that I've had in marketing, in event entertainment, and in business that have really allowed me to mentor other people who are trying to learn these same skills. So let's back up to those years before I had a team. What did the days look like? What filled my time? Because I was working full time, let me tell you, even when it was just me. You've heard the term wearing all the hats, right? Well, that's what I was doing, and I fully embraced it. I learned that the people who are really successful are the ones who don't shy away from the tasks that they don't really like. I didn't always love every piece of what I do. I still don't love every piece of the business that I have to do, but I do them anyway because it takes every single piece of the puzzle to really create a successful business. So next week, I'm gonna unpack all of those hats. We're gonna talk about all of the roles that you're gonna have to take on if you want to have a successful business. In the meantime, think about your own background. Where did you come from? What skills do you already have? What got you to where you are today? Because you may know a lot more about this than you realize because of your own unique background and your own unique experiences. And that's it for today. I was going to try to fit everything into one episode, but it was just going to be too long. So next week, we'll dive into all of those hats. And I hope that if you enjoy this episode, if you enjoy this podcast, you'll share it with your friends and then tune in next week for the unpacking of the hats. And I will see you next time. Be sure to follow this podcast if you're enjoying it, and also find me on Instagram at @TheCelesteV. Also message me there if you have any questions or if you would like to hear about a specific topic on future episodes of The Glam Violinist. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode of The Glam Violinist. I'm so glad you're here, and I can't wait to watch you grow, no matter where you are on this journey. We're in this together, and I believe in you. Until next time, this is Celeste V, reminding you to stay glamorous.